Howdy guys, welcome back to another one. Today we're doing a breakdown on a relatively new shell on the market. This is Federal Top Gun Steel. That's not all that new. What's new is the paper wad. Personally, I think something like this is really cool. There are places here in the United States, it's more common in other parts of the world, but in some places you just can't use a plastic wad. I know some gun ranges here, they don't like plastic wads laying all over their field, range, whatever. Yeah, they don't really like plastic wads, so they don't allow the use of them. You have to use fiber wads. Also, this one here is lead shot free, being steel. So yeah guys, there is absolutely no plastic anywhere in this except for the hull. It all has a fiber wad and steel, so that's pretty cool. No plastic gas seal. You know what? I'm all for this. If you can't have a plastic wad or somewhere don't want you using them, yeah, this is a great option. I'm actually glad that this is on the market. I do want to say a thanks to Jack for giving me the gift card to be able to get these. I got these in lead, steel, and I got some Federal, what were they, 2 3/4 inch 9-pellet double-aught 1325 FPS with the flight control wad. So those should be pretty interesting too. So, going over the box, we have Federal Top Gun Steel 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch 1300 FPS 1 ounce of steel 7.5 shot. I think these are mainly intended for clay shooting, target shooting, stuff like that. Looking at the back of it, you can see a cutaway of our shell. It's just a regular Federal Top Gun hull, which is low base. You can see how the base wad is hollowed out. Then we have our primer. We have powder. It looks like this has a separate paper gas seal and a shot cup. It looks like we have some sort of, it looks like sawdust in there, and then our shot and crimp. I haven't read any of this yet, so let's do that. High quality steel payload. We'll see that in a moment. We know that, you know, some manufacturers put kind of junk steel in their cheap loads. Paper gas sealing over powder wad, you know, that's what that is right there. Select clean burning propellant, consistent reliable primer, cellulose based filler, an exclusive paper wad. Below that we just have warnings. This side of it is just warnings. Guys, if you want to read anything, just pause it. And this side of it right here, Federal Top Gun loads paper wad, produces clay breaking patterns while leaving less plastic in the field. For some reason, that was kind of hard for me to read. Got twisted over my words, but anyway, the rest of it is just the same stuff that was, you know, listed here. But more warnings down there. Bottom of the box is, well, nothing really of note. And these are made in the USA, not assembled in the USA. Looking at our shell, it's a regular Federal Top Gun, nothing special here. It does have a fairly good crimp on it, and this one does actually say paper wad on it. But otherwise, it's exactly the same as any other Federal Top Gun hull. We have a low steel base on it that has a brass plating, and 12 gauge Federal is the head stamp, and a 209A primer, which is also made by Federal. The crimp on this one is pretty deep set. It has a taper on it. It's not wavy across the top at all. It is not lopsided. Crimp looks great. Kind of swirly though. So without further ado, let's crack this open and actually take a look at that wad. I am very interested in seeing that. Okay, so starting with the payload, we have 1.01 ounces of obviously steel shot. And we can see that, I don't know what to call that, to be honest. What did the box call it? Let's see. Focus. Cellulose-based filler. Okay, we'll call it that, because I guess that's what it is. But, guys, the shot is a little bit rusty. So, yeah, the shot doesn't really look all that great. Some of it is rusty, and it's malformed. They're not consistently sized. Some of them are oval. And you can see the one right here, middle screen, towards the bottom, has a, I don't know, gash in it. And the one center screen now does too. The shot being rusty doesn't really surprise me. This being a paper wad in here, that will draw moisture, and it is likely to have some moisture left in it, and, well, that can lead to rust. But again, this shell is likely intended for just shooting clays or targets, having fun with at the range, stuff like that. It doesn't need to be serious, high-quality shot to do any of that. For a charge, we have 24.8, it's actually probably supposed to be 25, of more black flake powder that we commonly see in target shells. Here's a better view of that. Turns out this is not the same powder that we always see. This is something else. The flakes are a little bit smaller, and as you can see, there are other colored flakes in it too. They are white, greenish white. No idea what this would be. I've never seen anything like it. Could be a blended powder, who knows. As for a gas seal, well, it kind of crumbled when I was pulling it out. It fits very tight in the shell, and I had to use a screw to pull it out, and a screwdriver, and then a pair of pliers. So not the easiest thing to pull out, but it is fiber. What material this is, I have no idea. It kind of feels like if you've ever used not waxed hard cards, Maxi Nitro cards. It's the same hardness as that. It's just not the same color, but it appears to be the same material, although I can't confirm that. Now as for the wad, well, first things first, it does have 2 pedals, not 4, and it's not really a wad. It's a sabot, technically. But yeah, that is what is protecting your barrel from the steel in this shell. It is relatively thick, and it's hard, like very, very sturdy. I was expecting a legit wad, but no, it's more of a sabot, if you want to call it that. What would you guys call it? Let me know. It's not a shot cup either. It is cool though. But as for the hull, it is just a regular Federal Top Gun, nothing special at all, a very low base wad. And you can see our primer in there too. Nothing special at all here. And here it is put back together. It does have a really nice taper on it, although somehow stack height ended up a lot lower than what it was before I took it apart. And everything is back in here. As you can see, the powder is in it, the shot is in it, the gas seal is in it. I don't know why stack height would be so much lower, but it is. That one's a mystery. So Federal is offering these in lead and steel. They offer them in multiple shot sizes. The lead, I believe, comes in 1 ounce or 1 1/8 ounce. And I think it is 6 or 7.5 shot, and I believe the steel is either 6 or 7.5 shot too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is what I remember seeing. But yeah, guys, these are a really cool shell. Again, I'm happy something like this is on the market for the people that can't use plastic wads wherever they may be. Again, that's more common in other parts of the world, not so much here in the USA, but it is a thing in places. And we will be doing a range video on these. We'll pattern a few of them with some different chokes. I'll try to find regular Federal Top Gun steel with, the plastic wad, just to see how it does compared to this with the paper wad. I actually had some in 20 gauge not too long back, but we shot them at Clay's. The range video on these might take a while to come out because finding the Top Gun steel with the, plastic wad in it is kind of hard around here. I have seen them here and there, but they are not always in stock at the shops around me. But I will find them, and we will do a range video comparing these and the regular Top Gun steel. This being steel 7.5 shot, you can actually use a bit tighter chokes than you would otherwise use with stuff like a 2 or a 3 or 1 or BB size pellet. This can be safely shot through a full choke in a modern gun, no issue at all. Although you may or may not want to chance that, but I would. If you guys didn't know, the steel that they use for steel shot is a lot softer than barrel steel, but it is still pretty hard stuff. Basically, steel shot is made out of soft steel, not hardened steel. But anyway, guys, there was a breakdown on Federal Top Gun steel 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch 1300 FPS 1 ounce steel 7.5 shot. Very interesting shell. I like them, but I'm excited to do the range video on these. But anyway, guys, that's going to end this one here. You guys take it easy. We'll see you in the next one.